Hey, what's going on, guys? Crass Businessman here. Today we were gonna talk about how to set SMART goals, but I just wasn't feeling it. So we're gonna go ahead and save that for Monday. So today's quote of the day is: broke people talk about people and problems. Rich people talk about ideas and goals. Your conversation chooses your destiny. That's by a gentleman named Darren Hardy. So the title of this video likely infuriated you, and I'm imagining there's going to be some pitchforks and flaming torches that are headed towards my doorstep, but bear with me, allow me to explain. First, I want to point out that we often shortchange people's accomplishments in order to satiate our jealousy or cope with it, rather. For example, people don't really appreciate when someone is really physically fit. They'll say things like, so, they're just buff, they ain't shit. It doesn't make them better than me, and or some variation thereof, which is it's ridiculous. And the harsh truth is that it does mean that they're better than you in several categories. If they're physically fit, they're likely better at discipline, priority management, consistency, decisiveness. You see, there's never just one skill involved in reaching success. They all play a role and have to be at a certain level in order to achieve it. This is success at the physical level. This doesn't mean overall, because the phrase, better than you or better than me is so broad and undefined that it can mean fucking anything. So until that term is defined, saying generally better than you, it's kind of a moot point. But the fact is that, feelings aside, if someone is more physically fit than you, then they are better than you at being physically fit and all the corollary things. Another thing that gets paired with this all too often is the idea that they have to be lacking in other areas. It's another ridiculous way that we use to cope with jealousy as well. So for example, they'll say, well, they might be buff, but, they're probably not happy. Or, yeah, they're fit, but they probably suck at basketball. Just think about the ridiculousness of these statements and the motive, mainly. What are you trying to accomplish here? They might suck at this, based off of fucking what? This flies right in the face of science, because lifting weights and physical exercise releases endorphins in your brain that make you feel good. Feeling good is an important facet of being happy. So it's complete and utter bullshit, basically. It's a crap notion, it's incredibly immature, and it pretty much needs to be discarded. So we often become, too attached to these ridiculous, conventional wisdom sayings that were invented by the ignorant and just passed on for generations. And I've mentioned this in several videos before, and we're constantly, changing the definitions of them to make them actually accurate. If someone were to make the claim that they're better than you, would you take offense? Chances are you would, depending on whether you lend any credence to the statement. But why? See, the facts are that they're likely better than you in several ways, just like how likely you're better than them in several ways as well. Better implies that they're measurably more advanced. Since what they are better at than you is undefined at that juncture, this should be completely ignored. It's just a baseless statement and blanket statement that means nothing. So there's really no reason to be offended when someone says that they're better than you, if they even say that. But here's where it gets interesting. The claim that I made is that rich people are generally better than poor people. Now, first I want to say there are no absolutes. I'm saying generally. And bear with me. I know. Let me explain. Much like the example that I mentioned, the amount of skills it takes to become rich in the first place are numerous and often underappreciated. You don't just get rich because, you have one skill. You have good people skills. Now, granted, it's more than likely a contributing factor, but my point is that it's never just one thing. If someone has become rich from, building a business, for example, then they need people skills, financial management skills, priority management skills, marketing skills, math skills, personnel management skills. The list goes on and on. But, we like to invent this narrative that conventional wisdom tends to play a role in, and it's ridiculous. The conventional narrative that I often hear all the time has three main parts. Rich people are all evil. Rich people are just lucky. And, rich people aren't happy. Right? Which is, it's based off of fucking nothing, or secondhand, anecdotal evidence, which is the same as fucking nothing, and so I want to try to change your idea of that, of this crap mentality. So would you consider Steve Jobs evil? He became rich from being pivotal in bringing personal computing to the world, which eventually resulted in all this current technology we have today, iPads, iPhones, and whatnot. So what's evil about inventing something that the majority of the world benefits from? Nothing. Nothing's evil about that. Was Steve Jobs lucky? Yeah, maybe. But is the fact that he put in thousands of hours on the Apple I dumb luck? No. That's not part of luck. So was Steve Jobs not happy? Well, that one's hard to say because I can't really get inside of his head. But once again, it's more likely that he was, because emotional management is an incredibly important aspect when creating substantial wealth. So although it's not guaranteed that yes, he was happy just because he's rich, there is a slight correlation. He likely was, as someone successful in business usually has a good balance in their personal life, or they wouldn't be successful at all. So to sum up, when someone has more money than you, they're better than you at wealth creation and likely all the corollary skills surrounding it. So there's really no need to be upset about it. It's just a fact. If you don't like the fact, then change it. They're skills. You can work on your skills, and you get better at the skills. It's like the guy who's upset at people calling him fat. It's like, yeah, I still care about people. You shouldn't call people fat. But it's simple. Don't be fat. If you're not fat, people won't really make fun of you for being fat because they can't. Now keep in mind, I'm saying simple and not easy. There's a definite distinction there. If you don't want people to do something, or say something about you, then don't be the thing that they're saying about you. I feel like that's pretty simple. May not always be easy, but it's definitely a simple solution. That's about it for this video, guys. Once again, I'm Crass Businessman. Please like, comment, subscribe. And if you disagree with any of my points, please, I definitely welcome it. I would sincerely appreciate any counter-argument, just so long as it's an actual argument and not just, fuck you, or, you're wrong, period. Please have some sort of points. I'm definitely willing to admit when I'm wrong, or if I'm wrong, but that will come as a result of, a compelling counter-argument with actually good evidence. So thanks, guys. Until next time, hey, stay productive.